Today we're going to be working on lesson 13.4, reasoning. So it says Noel has a music lesson at 3:30. At 4:30 he goes to the library. He gets ready at 5 so he can have dinner at 5:30. After dinner ends at 6, he plays a game. How can you organize this information in a schedule? So we're going to underline the problem. How can you organize this information in a schedule? And then you're going to think about even like the schedule that we have in school. So we're going to look at the time shown. So he has 3:30, 4:30, 5, 5:30, and 6. So just by looking at the hours, we can tell that 3:30 comes first because we know the number 3 is the smallest. And we know that that comes before the numbers on a clock if we were to draw one right here. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. If it's easier for you to draw a clock so you can see, you could do that as well. We see that 3 comes before any of the other numbers mentioned, so we're going to start off with that time. 3:30, he has a music lesson, music. At 4:30, he goes to the library, so that's the next number. He gets ready at 5 so he can have dinner at 5:30. So at 5 o'clock, get ready. Do you see how I'm taking the information here? You look at the times on the clock. We have 3, check. We did 4:30, check. 5. 5:30 comes after 5, so that comes next. 5:30 he eats dinner. And it says at 6 he plays a game. See how the numbers on the clock go this way? That's how I was able to use that to write my schedule. Mr. Diaz starts to read a story at halfway between 8 and 9. What time does Mr. Diaz start the story? Show the hands on the clock. So remember, halfway. He starts reading a story between 8 and 9. We know that when we're talking about halfway, that the minute hand goes on the 6, and the hour hand is 8 and 9. So the hour hand goes between the 8 and the 9. These two numbers. Halfway, 6. We know that that's half past. How can I make sense of the question? What does halfway mean? Well, halfway means half. What is my thinking? The time between 8 and 9 is 1 hour, or 60 minutes, like we have discussed in previous lessons. A half hour is 30 minutes. 8:30 is halfway between 8 and 9. See, just like how I drew over here, it's the same thing. We know when it's half past or halfway that the number is going to be on the 6. I can look back at the table to see if my answer makes sense, which it does. Do you understand? What happens 1 hour after art begins? Explain how you know. So let's take a look at the activities. We know that art begins at 10:30. 1 hour after 10:30. Let's take a look at the clock over here. If we were to bring our clock to 10:30 and it's asking what happens after an hour, think about it. Remember, when it goes all the way around, it's 1 hour. So now we're at 11:30. What happens at 11:30? Lunch. And I know because I moved my clock 1 hour, which is 60 minutes, after 10:30. So it says, use Mr. Diaz's class schedule above to answer the questions. Circle the activity that starts at the time shown. Then explain your reasoning. So let's take a look. I see that the hour hand is facing the 8 and the minute hand is facing the 12. So I know that we're talking about time to the hour. This shows 8 o'clock. And if you want to write it down to make it easier, you can. 8 o'clock. What time is 8 o'clock? Reading. Then explain your reasoning. I know it was to the hour when the minute hand faces the 12. 10:30. Well, I'm just going to take a look at the class schedule. And at 10:30, there is art. And how do I know that? I was able to identify 10:30 on the schedule. So on your own, you guys are going to do 729 along with 730.